Hey guys, and welcome to my thoughts and first impressions on the ARCH GLACOR Boss. So whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So, the ARCH GLACOR. Now this is an incredibly well designed boss. I think this is currently the most enjoyable boss in the game, and I'm not just saying that because it's a new boss. I thoroughly enjoyed getting the 30 or so kills I have right now. The three things I dislike the most in bossing aren't really that apparent in this boss. First of all is constant stuns, like Calfight King. Well, we don't really have that with this boss, even though you do have some stuns. Second is counting auto attacks. You don't need to necessarily do that with this boss, and there's not much point to it because you don't know which mechanic is coming next. You can kind of predict the next mechanic by looking at where the ice goes, but that's about it. And third, you don't need to constantly prayer flick. Now there is definitely some prayer flicking involved, especially if you do hard mode. Without it, you are simply just going to die. You need to prayer flick properly, let's say 200% and rage up. Because if you don't, you're just gonna die because the hits are really hard at that point. Now so far my max enrage is 259% with a successful kill. Now I'm definitely going to go for that 500% enrage title, although I need to make this video first and then take some time off to relax, and then I'll get back to it. Now I'll cover how to counter the mechanics in just a second, but there's one mechanic in particular that needs some fixing, and that is the beam attack. No, not the cannon attack, but the pillars of ice mechanic. Now you can see this mechanic coming, kind of. If you are sent to the western side of the arena, it's either going to be the frost cannon or the pillars of ice mechanic. Now the pillars of ice mechanic are beams that come down and sap your health, prayer, and even your adrenaline, which got me killed because I didn't know it would sap your adrenaline. It drains adrenaline? No! No! Dude, no. Ah, f***. Ah, I did not realize it would drain your adrenaline, or I would have just barricaded right there. Yep, that's how I lost my 18 kill streak, which was going fairly well, and I didn't have that many problems going up the rages until about 250%, but more on that later. But yeah, the problem with the beam mechanic is, well, first of all, I didn't know it drained adrenaline because I'm pretty sure they didn't say that on stream, but that doesn't matter. But the biggest problem with the beam mechanic is the fact that the hitbox of the ARCH GLACOR is absolutely humongous. You physically cannot click anywhere on the arena unless you use your minimap. You will not be able to click and move out of the way for the beams unless your camera is positioned in some crazy way. Now in normal mode the beams don't deal that much damage and you only have two of them, but in hard mode a third one spawns, and after that another beam spawns once they disappear. But the best way I've found to counter them is by zigzagging around them, because they always spawn in the same location. But just in case, I would go ahead and use barricade beforehand, or if I don't have 100% adrenaline, I would use reflect and a power burst of vitality to double my HP. And I'll be honest, this is definitely the most punishing mechanic out of all of them, because the other ones are not that bad, actually. The big cannon mechanic is really easy to counter. Just don't use your devotion for the entire fight, just don't click it, don't use the keybinds, and then once you see the cannon charging up, use devotion, protect from magic, and you're safe from all three hits. In normal mode, you can simply resonance this mechanic, but in hard mode, you can't. Well, you can, but you're probably going to die. The hits are extremely high. You are able to survive at lower enrages by using a power boost of vitality and then using reflect, but you're better off using devotion because it's a lot safer. It is worth noting that this is one of the more predictable mechanics, because if you're sent to the eastern side of the arena in a little tiny spot, you know it's coming up. If you're sent to the western area of the arena, it's either going to be the cannon attack or the icy beams attack. And you want to have 50% or more adrenaline for both anyway, so it doesn't matter. It is worth noting this mechanic does actually stun you even if you survive, so you want to use freedom to start attacking the boss straight away, or alternatively, you'd want to use anticipation beforehand. As for the minions, they're pretty easy to counter. I would just AoE them down using Chinchompas if you're using ranged, or just use your Greater Chain, Dragon Breath, all that kind of stuff. Or perhaps use a Scythe if you're using melee. I don't think they're very hard to kill. When these Glacides die, they leave behind some kind of core, and if you click on it, it will reflect some damage back onto the boss. I think the minions are more of a distraction than a mechanic that will really hurt you, at least with my gear anyways. As for the exposed core mechanic, where you need to DPS down one of the arms and then move out of the way and attack the boss again, this is basically a DPS race. You take more and more damage the longer you take. The magic hits get really high, but you can soul split it at first, and something like the enhanced enhanced devoted perk will help you out if you're a little bit slow in terms of DPS, because you do start to take some big damage after some time. This mechanic also applies some kind of debuff stack which increases the damage taken, and the arms are not actually poisonable unlike the boss, which is poisonable. And finally, the flurry mechanic, or the thing where you stand in the middle where the boss starts attacking 40% faster. Basically what this is the prayer flicking phase, and I would say this is the ideal time to DPS down the boss, while prayer flicking, of course, where he will attack you with melee attacks, ranged attacks, and of course magic attacks. Now if you don't see him swiping his arm over the arena, and you don't see some kind of green glow, it's going to be a magic attack, because those are the hardest to spot. My tip is look out for a green cloud, and if you don't see a green cloud and he doesn't swipe his arm over the arena, he's definitely going to attack you with a magic attack. It is worth noting that if you upgrade your Pontifex Shadow Ring using 1000 Resonant Anima of Wen, you will have 10% stronger protection prayers or curses. If you're going to be doing hard mode, you will want to have that ring upgrade, so go ahead and get it. I'm stuck. Step bro. Oh, there we go. Overall, I think this boss is incredibly well made, like I said before, and I do think this is the best boss in the game. It's one of the most accessible bosses if you turn off all the mechanics in normal mode, which you can do as you wish. It's unbelievably easy. I think it's easier than KBD. I would have to try it on a low level account first to actually confirm it. If you turn on all 5 mechanics in normal mode, I do believe Carapac normal mode is a little more punishing. So I would say Carapac normal mode is harder to learn solo than this boss. Araxor is definitely slightly harder than this boss to learn, especially because Araxor has high defense. And I would say that Gold Rush Dungeon 2 challenge mode will probably require you to eat more food than at this boss, but I could be wrong. I have not tried this with low level weapons yet. I will probably do that for my guide, but for now I do think the boss in normal mode with 5 mechanics turned on is a smidge below Araxor difficulty if you have 290 weapons and overloads. As for hard mode, at 0%, it doesn't seem to be that much more difficult than 5 mechanics turned on normal mode at all, but at 250% it does start to get a little bit difficult. The damage you take goes up, the health of the boss goes up, and all that kind of stuff. I do think Carapac hard mode is significantly harder than this boss at 250% enraged. That's one thing I can say for sure. At the end of the day, it's kind of hard to compare any boss in RuneScape to another boss because they are so wildly different. I'm excited to keep pushing the enrage on this boss, and hopefully I'll be able to get a tier 95 orb. So far I've only received the glove upgrade drop from normal mode, but I'm not going to complain. I need to get that kill count and enrage up. Let me know what you guys think of the boss, and if you think this boss is extremely difficult or extremely easy, just let me know what you think. With that being said though, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, and if you like RuneScape content, be sure to subscribe. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.